Hi, welcome to Spread the Word. My name is Adon, and in today's episode, I'm here to remind you that it doesn't matter how hard things seems to be. There's always a word from God for you and I. And I know that life is getting hard and harder every day, and people go through situations, and sometimes we feel like we are by ourselves. I want to remind you something, and I want you to know this. And I want you to know that God is in control. You might hear it before, you might experience it, you might feel it, but I want you to know that the Lord is in control. And we all have different seasons in our life. There's time for everything and anything on earth. And I understand that for a big majority of people it's different, and it's kind of different, or it's kind of hard, better yet, because we don't understand sometimes why things happen to us. We don't understand why things goes the way they going, and we don't understand so many things that occur in our life. And if you are a believer, you need to understand that things gonna happen, that not always everything's gonna be fine and nice. But at the same time, I want you to know that the Lord also has control of everything and anything that happens in our life. Sometimes we lose hope, sometimes we lose faith, sometimes we lose patience, but it's good to know that it's something normal. As a human being, we always gonna have ups and downs, and it all depends what we do with those ups and downs. It all depends how we take it, how we react to it, and it all depends how knowledgeable you are of the Word of God. And I want to take you into the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 3. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and time to pluck up that which is planted, time to kill, time to heal, time to break down, time to build up, time to weep, time to laugh, time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, time to get and a time to lose, time to keep and a time to cast away, time to rend and a time to sow, time to keep silence and a time to speak, time to love and a time to hate, time of war and a time of peace. So as you can see, there's a time for everything. And when those times comes to your life, times of difficulties, times of harsh, times of trouble, situations that arrives in our lives when we're not expecting, know that God is in control. And like I said before, sometimes we feel like we're by ourselves, and it's not. We tend to live in this life nowadays, which is like a microwave type of life or lifestyle, in which we want everything fast, in which we want everything to happen, at the snap of a finger. And good things in life take times. Whether you are trying to build your project, whether you're trying to build a business, whether you're trying to, build a nice or better relationship with your significant others, whatever it is, it takes time to, concentrate and be perfect or the way that we want. And The reason why I'm saying all this is because we tend to um expedite things in our life, and when we don't see the result that we're expecting or the result that we want, we tend to blame others, and we tend to point fingers at people. That has nothing to do with whatever we're going through. And the reason why I cited that book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, from verse 1 all the way down to verse 9, is because sometimes it's good to remind us or remind ourselves that there's a time for everything and anything on earth. And we just got to be patient. We just got to ask the Lord for guidance. We just got to ask the Lord for wisdom, for the strength to continue to build up whatever we're trying to build, for the strength to continue to exercise that sense of love for the Lord, that sense of spiritual style, life, and and keep going. Life is not easy. Life is, it's complicated from time to time, but there's nothing possible for the Lord. Everything is possible with Jesus. Everything is possible with the Lord. And, you might be going through harsh time for, hard situations in your life. And you might wonder, what's going on, what's happening. And if you don't know or if you forgot, it's good to know that the Lord is in control. Sometimes shortcuts is not what we expect. Shortcuts is not what we want. But everything has a time and a season in our life. If this is the time for you to struggle financially, it is also time for you to start organizing and budgeting. If you are struggling to go into church or find a church, it is a time for you to start looking for that church. It is a time for you to start coming to church. If you are struggling with some sort of bad habits, whether it's sexual, alcohol, drug, or whatever it is the time also for you to understand that is causing you trouble, and you need to change your way of life and those habits. That's why I said there is a season for everything on earth.